Before anything else moves, before your feet hit the floor, before the rush of obligation and noise fills your space, pause just for a moment. Not to plan, not to fix, not even to think, simply to breathe. We live in a culture that glorifies the grind. We measure our worth by how early we wake, how full our calendars are, and how much we've accomplished by noon. We move fast, think faster, and often feel like if we slow down, we'll fall behind. But that's a lie dressed up as ambition. Because while the world races, your soul was never designed to sprint. It was created to be still. Stillness is not weakness. It is not idleness. It is not the absence of doing, but the presence of being. Being grounded, being anchored, being aware of the one who holds the day before it even begins. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. These aren't just poetic words, they are a spiritual rescue. They are an invitation to sanity, in balance, into the kind of peace that doesn't depend on having everything figured out, but on knowing the one who does. Stillness is an act of war in a culture of chaos. It's not passive, it's powerful. When you choose to begin your day with stillness, you're choosing not to be ruled by urgency. You're choosing not to bow to anxiety. You're choosing to remember who you are and who God is before the world tries to tell you otherwise. Because the truth is, without stillness, we don't hear clearly. We react more than we respond. We perform instead of resting. We run, but we run empty. How many times have you rushed into the day already tense before 8 a.m.? How often do your first thoughts revolve around everything that's required of you: emails, to answer bills, to pay kids, to care for, expectations to meet? And in the midst of all that motion, your spirit gets drowned out by the noise. That's why you have to begin with intention. Not just devotion, but presence. Being fully present to the fact that you're not walking into this day alone. God is already here. He's not waiting for you to succeed in meeting you. He's waiting for you to slow down long enough to see Him. Stillness is how we stop running from the emptiness and start walking with eternal purpose. It's how we shift from surviving to truly living. And here's the practice. Before the rush begins, take just 3 sacred minutes. No music, no scrolling, no multitasking. Set your phone face down. Close the mental tabs running in your head. Inhale slowly. Exhale with intention. Then whisper, "I'm here, Lord." Speak, "I'm listening." That's it. This isn't a performance. You don't have to sound eloquent. You don't need the perfect words. Your willingness is the offering. Your stillness is the prayer. In that quiet space, you create room for God's voice to rise above the noise. You let peace become the pace of your day, not pressure. You give yourself permission to move slower, listen longer, and choose better. And when you walk out of that moment, even if only 3 minutes, you'll carry something different into the world. A softness, a clarity, a confidence not rooted in your own strength, but in God's presence. Let that be your starting line. Not urgency, not overwhelm, not fear, but stillness. Because peace is not found at the end of the day, it's chosen at the start. Start here. Start with breath. Start with God. How often do we mistake control for clarity? We write the list. We chart the course. We plan down to the minute because it makes us feel safe. We crave predictability not just because we're organized, but because we're afraid. Afraid of the unknown. Afraid of failure. Afraid that if we don't hold everything tightly, it might all fall apart. So we manage. We overthink. We grip our plans like life rafts in a storm. But then, even after all the preparation, the research, the careful decisions, why does peace still feel out of reach? Because planning isn't the same as peace. Control isn't the same as clarity. We often try to build peace with our own hands, through control, through mastery, through our ability to handle everything. But real peace isn't something you construct. It's something you receive. And it starts when you release your grip. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5, It's a verse we've heard so many times that we forget how radical it actually is. This kind of trust isn't halfway. It's not, "I trust you, but I'll keep my backup plan just in case." It's wholehearted. It's full surrender. But here's the beauty: God isn't asking you to throw away your wisdom or stop thinking. He's asking you to stop building your life on your own limited understanding. Because what feels logical isn't always what's lasting. What looks good on paper might not lead to peace in your soul. Your 5-year plan might look flawless and still miss God's voice entirely. That's the danger of self-reliance. It convinces you that the illusion of control is safer than the vulnerability of faith. But you weren't created to map out life alone. You were created to be guided. God doesn't need your perfect strategy. He's not impressed by spreadsheets or certainty. What he desires is something far more intimate: your surrendered heart. A heart that says, "I don't just want what looks good, I want what's right. I don't just want results, I want your will." That's where clarity begins. Not with more planning, but with more prayer. Not with detailed control, but with quiet surrender. And here's the truth that often feels backward. When you release control, you don't lose direction, you finally find it. Because in the hands of God, surrendered things don't fall apart. They fall into place. So here's a simple but powerful reflection for your morning. Think of one area in your life where you're trying to control the outcome. Maybe it's a decision about your job. Maybe it's your finances or your health. Maybe it's something that involves someone you love deeply: a child, a spouse, a parent, a friend. The uncertainty has made you cling harder, plan deeper, and worry more. But what if today were different? Take that area and write it down. Name it, acknowledge it. Then beside it, write these words: "God, I release this to you. Lead me instead." You don't have to let go all at once, but you can begin. Because God never asks for control just to take something away from you. He asks because he has something better, something freer, something filled with peace. Let that surrender be the beginning of your clarity. Because when God leads, he doesn't just make the path known. He makes your heart steady. He doesn't just direct your steps, he brings peace into each one. So today, choose clarity over control, trust over tension, surrender over strategy. Not because it's easy, but because it's holy. Not because you've figured it all out, but because you know the one who already has. Let him lead you not just into your day, but into peace. Real peace. The kind that doesn't depend on everything going right, but on being rightly aligned with him. And that kind of peace, it's not found at the end of your plan. It's found the moment you let go. Wisdom rarely arrives as a lightning bolt. It doesn't crash down, suddenly fully formed and unmistakably clear. More often, it comes quietly, like dew in the morning, like a whisper in a room that's finally silent. It comes in layers, in steps, in moments where your heart is still enough to notice it. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. James 1:5. That verse doesn't just offer a promise, it offers a permission. Permission to not have it all figured out. Permission to ask questions that feel too raw or too basic. Permission to not pretend you're okay when you're actually confused, tired, or torn between choices. God is not irritated by your questions. He doesn't grow weary of your indecision. He doesn't shame you for not knowing what to do. In fact, he delights in being invited into your uncertainty. Because wisdom at its core isn't just about making the right choice, it's about walking in relationship with the one who knows the whole picture. And that relationship begins when we pause long enough to ask. But we don't just ask once in passing. We stay, we listen, we return to the question day after day, trusting that God's answers are worth waiting for. It's tempting to treat wisdom like a transaction. Ask once, wait 2 seconds, then move on if we don't hear thunder. But the truth is, wisdom is often formed in the stillness between the asking and the answer. In that space, our desires are refined, our motives are revealed, our ears become more attuned to the frequency of heaven. God's wisdom doesn't always rush in to solve a moment. Sometimes it slows us down so we don't rush into the wrong one. We live in a world that rewards speed, certainty, and instant results. But heaven operates differently. God is not in a hurry. He's not trying to keep up with your calendar. He's not competing with your deadlines. He is more concerned with forming your soul than fixing your situation in a flash. So, if the answer feels slow in coming, trust that something sacred is still happening. The shaping is just as important as the solution. And maybe in this season, the wisdom you're asking for won't just give you an answer. It will give you a new way of seeing, a new way of thinking, a new way of walking through life that doesn't rely on impulse, but on intimacy. So here's something gentle but powerful you can do today. Grab a notepad or journal. Sit down somewhere quiet, even if only for a few minutes. Then write down one decision you're facing right now. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It might be about your job, your family, your future, your mental health, whatever's weighing on you. Underneath that decision, write 3 honest questions you wish God would answer about it. Not the polished church answers, the real ones. Then pray. Not perform, just talk. Say, God, I'm listening. I need you to speak into this. I'm not rushing. I'm not forcing. I just want your wisdom more than my will. And then wait. Not passively, but with expectation. Live your day with one ear turned toward heaven. Look for the whisper in the conversation you weren't expecting, in the scripture that suddenly lands differently, in the peace that quietly replaces the panic. Because that's how His wisdom moves. Not to impress, but to guide. Not to overwhelm, but to anchor. God never withholds wisdom to punish you. He gives generously, patiently, and faithfully. You don't have to earn it, you just have to ask and be willing to wait. And when that wisdom comes, and it won't just make things clearer. It will make you stronger, calmer, wiser in ways you didn't know you needed. So today, choose the slow way, the sacred way. Ask boldly, wait humbly, and trust that heaven never stays silent to a surrendered heart. Maybe you're not rushing into a big day filled with plans and progress. Maybe you're not looking for clarity or even courage. Maybe you're just trying to get out of bed. Maybe hope feels like too heavy a word this morning. And maybe what you need most isn't motivation, but mercy. If that's you, this moment is for you. There's a kind of tired that no nap fixes, a kind of ache that lives just under the surface, hidden behind polite smiles, buried beneath responsibility, masked by I'm fine. And while the world praises strength and celebrates hustle, heaven is drawn to the broken. It leans in where others look away. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. God is not distant from your pain. He is not disinterested in your discouragement. He isn't waiting for you to get it together. He's already with you, right in the middle of it. And your tears, they aren't small to Him. They are sacred. They speak when you can't. They matter even when you feel like you don't. You might feel forgotten by people, but you are fully known by God. You might feel behind in healing G, but God is not measuring your progress. He's not disappointed in your pace. He's not tallying your good days against your setbacks. He's simply present, holding space for your sorrow, offering rest, not rebuke, whispering that you are still His, still seen, still loved, still being led, even in the dark. There's a pressure we carry when we're hurting to bounce back quickly, to put on a brave face, to prove we're strong. But true healing isn't rushed. It's not linear. It's messy, holy, tender. And God doesn't rush what He loves. He doesn't expect you to skip over the grief, the confusion, or the questions. He meets you there. He holds you when words fail. He walks beside you when the road disappears. He doesn't just guide your steps. He guards your heart. That part of you that's bruised by disappointment, torn by betrayal, scarred by loss or silence or shame. He tends to it with gentle hands. So if you feel weary today, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, know this: your wounds are not signs of failure. They are the very places God chooses to draw near. His nearness isn't just for the victorious, it's for the vulnerable. For the middle-aged mother still recovering from a painful divorce. For the grown man carrying childhood wounds in silence. For the woman who smiles in public and cries in secret. For the one who shows up for everyone but feels unseen themselves. This is your invitation to rest, not to give up, but to lay down the burden of pretending. You don't have to fix everything right now. You don't have to have the perfect prayer or the strongest faith. Just honesty, just openness, just enough courage to say, God, I'm still hurting, but I trust you're still here. So today, take the pressure off, healing fast. Let the process be slow if it needs to be. Let God hold you where you are instead of pushing yourself where you're not. Write this down. Let it be a lifeline when the feelings don't line up with the truth. God is still guiding me, even when I feel lost. Say it aloud. Whisper it if you have to. Repeat it when the doubts get loud. Speak it until your soul starts to believe it again. Because healing isn't about never feeling broken. It's about learning who holds the pieces. And you, beloved, are being held by the one who knows exactly how to put it all back together, piece by tender piece. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are held. You are healing. And even now, especially now, God is near. Father, before I step into the rush of this day, before I open my hands to carry anything else, I come to you first. I come not with a list of demands or polished words, but with an open heart. I'm tired of chasing clarity on my own, tired of waking up with a weight on my chest, unsure of how to carry it, yet too proud to say I'm not okay. I come because I need you more than I need answers. I need your presence more than I need a plan. I need peace that doesn't hinge on everything going right, but peace that comes from knowing you're already in every place I'm about to go. Before I touch the world today, I want to touch heaven. Quiet every other voice, the voice of fear, of pressure, of comparison, of shame. Turn down the volume of the world and turn up the sound of your spirit. Speak what is true until the lies fall silent. Center me, anchor me, remind me that I don't have to perform for your approval or pretend for your affection. I don't have to prove myself to be held by you. You see through all the striving and still choose to stay. So I release it all. I release the need to figure it out, the need to impress, the need to control every detail. I let go of fear, the fear of failure, of falling short, of being misunderstood. I let go of urgency, the pressure to move, to answer, to respond, to decide. I surrender the panic. I've grown so used to the one that tells me if I don't hold it together, everything will fall apart. And instead, I receive what only you can give. I receive your guidance, not as a roadmap, but as a relationship. I receive your peace, not as a feeling, but as a foundation. I receive your presence, not as a reward, but as a reminder that I'm never alone. God, interrupt my plans if they're not aligned with your will. Cancel my agenda if it's not carrying eternal weight. Rearrange the pieces I've been forcing to fit and show me how to walk in rhythm with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you. Slow me down if I'm moving too fast. Teach me that obedience is better than speed. Remind me that progress in your kingdom doesn't always look like productivity. It often looks like presence, like stillness, like surrender. Give me wisdom today, not just the kind that solves problems, but the kind that softens my heart, the kind that helps me see what you see, the kind that reminds me how to love people instead of just managing them, the kind that doesn't always make sense, but always makes peace. Let every word I speak reflect your grace. Let every step I take echo trust. Let every encounter be an opportunity to carry your light into dark spaces, not by being loud, but by being rooted in truth and love. Let me be slow to speak, quick to listen, and faithful in every small thing. Today, I don't ask for an easy road. I ask for a faithful heart, one who chooses you again and again, especially when it's hard. One that holds to hope even when the way is unclear. One that doesn't rely on the outcome to believe you're still good. You are the first voice I want to hear today. The first presence I want to acknowledge. The first love I want to respond to. So here I am, Lord. Take this day, shape it, breathe into it, walk me through it, one surrendered step at a time. In Jesus' holy and beautiful name, I pray amen. Don't just wake up today. Rise with purpose. Don't rush past this sacred moment like any other scroll, any other voice, any other message. Pause here. Let these words breathe into your morning like light breaking through a heavy curtain. This isn't just another post, another video, another prayer to check off before the day begins. This is your reminder that something deeper is available. Right here, right now. Before the world begins to shape you, you have a choice to let God lead you. Maybe you're waking up with more questions than answers. Maybe you feel overwhelmed before your feet even hit the floor. Maybe there's a weight you can't quite explain, just the sense that something inside you is unsettled. That's okay. You're not alone. And more importantly, you're not expected to figure it all out by 8 a.m. What if today could be different? Not because your circumstances instantly change, but because your starting point does. God doesn't ask you to sprint. He asks you to stay close, to listen before leaping, to be still before striving. Let His presence become the compass before you chart the course. The world will try to rush you into reaction, in control, into the decision. But clarity never begins in chaos. It begins in communion with the one who wrote every second of your day before you even opened your eyes. So instead of running into your to-do list, run into His presence. Take 5 quiet minutes, not for performance, not for perfection, just for surrender. Sit with God in the stillness. Let the silence speak. Reflect on the condition of your heart. Are you anxious, driven, afraid? What thoughts have tried to lead you before God had a chance to then bring one thing into the light? One decision you've been carrying, maybe it's a choice you've already made, but haven't invited Him into. Maybe it's a door you're hoping will open, or one you're too afraid to close. Whatever it is, write it down. Not because the act of writing solves it, but because naming it breaks its power to stay hidden. Underneath that decision, write this simple, courageous phrase: God, I'm starting here with you. Speak it aloud if you can. Let your own voice be the echo of your surrender. Let your soul hear the shift that this day won't be led by fear or striving, but by trust. Real, raw, unwavering trust in the one who goes before you, stands beside you, and holds you when you can't take another step on your own. If these words resonated with you, don't just hold them for yourself. Someone else you know is waking up with a heavy heart too. Someone is wrestling with a decision in silence, questioning their worth, or searching for peace that seems just out of reach. Share this with them not as a solution, but as an invitation, an opening, a light. And if you feel led, drop those words in the comments, not as a slogan, but as a declaration of faith. I'm starting here with you, Lord. Let the world see that surrender is not weakness, it's sacred strength. Choosing stillness is not delay, it's divine direction. That peace isn't passive, it's powerful. Because when you let God lead your morning, you change the whole rhythm of your day. So take this moment, don't scroll past it. Don't treat it lightly. Let it become a turning point, a gentle realignment toward what truly matters. This is more than a beginning. It's an anchoring, a reminder that even when life pulls you in every direction, you know exactly where to return. Not to clarify you've created, but to the God who creates peace in the middle of uncertainty. Don't just wake up. Rise with purpose. Begin again. Begin here. Begin with Him. She didn't expect the email. Not that early. Not with that subject line. We regret to inform you, it was a job she had prayed for, prepared for, practically begged God to open. It felt perfect, right hours, right pay, right timing. And now, in one click, it was gone. She sat in silence, her morning coffee untouched, her mind racing ahead to unpaid bills, disappointed family, and the ache of starting over. Again. But something inside her shifted. Not loud, not immediate, just a quiet resistance to spiral into despair. She reached for her journal, not to plan her next step, but to pour out her disappointment to God. Lord, she wrote, if this wasn't the door, help me not chase it anymore. Help me trust the one you will open. In that fragile moment, peace arrived not as an explanation, but as a presence, a whisper, I haven't forgotten you. She closed her eyes, still grieving, but not lost. Not this time. In the quiet breaking of her morning, after the disappointment of yet another closed door, she discovered something more valuable than certainty surrender. She had walked into the day with hope, clutched in her hands, believing this opportunity was the answer she had been waiting for. And yet when it was taken away, she wasn't left empty. She was invited deeper. Instead of letting the loss spiral into despair, she chose to pause, to let grief have a voice, but not the final word. In that pause, she discovered that faith isn't proven in the victories, it's proven in the valleys, in the waiting, in letting go of what seemed right to make room for what is actually divine. Her story reminds us sometimes the closed door is not rejection, it's redirection. Sometimes what feels like the delay is divine protection. And sometimes the most sacred prayers are not the ones we whisper before the blessing, but the ones we offer in the loss, the confusion, the not yet. If you find yourself in that place today, waiting, hurting, questioning, don't rush past it. Don't try to fix it immediately. Sit with God in the middle of it. Let Him speak. Let Him hold you. And remember, clarity doesn't come from control. It comes from communion. Begin again, not with plans, but with presence. Start there. Start with Him. Life rarely unfolds the way we script it. Doors we pray to open remain closed. Dreams we hold tightly slip through our fingers. And yet, in those very moments of loss and uncertainty, we are offered something sacred, the invitation to trust God more than our understanding. The deeper lesson isn't about learning how to avoid disappointment. It's about learning how to rest in the one who holds the outcome, even when the path is unclear. It's realizing that peace doesn't come from getting what we want. It comes from believing that God is still good when we don't. When we surrender our timeline, our expectations, and our fear of failure, we create space for something better. God's will, not ours. True spiritual maturity is not measured by how perfectly we perform, but by how quickly we return to His presence when things fall apart. It's about building a life where stillness is our starting place, not our last resort. So the next time your plans unravel or hope feels delayed, pause. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't reach for control. Instead, lean in. Listen. Let go. Because every ending you didn't expect might just be the beginning you actually needed, with God leading the way.